Hi, I'm Belinda, the Director of the Institute of Personal Care Science, and I get asked about the different natural waxes that are out there. And there are quite a few that you can choose from. So in this video, I'm going to show you comparisons of the most commonly used natural waxes, and I'm also going to show you whether they suit sticks or gels or ointments best. So let's take a look. Now what I've done here is I have arranged these different natural waxes in order of softest right through to hardest. I'm going to start with this one here. This is hydrogenated vegetable oil, and while not technically a wax, I have included it because it's a fantastic gelling agent. Now this is the material here as a raw material. It comes as this little granulated waxy material. Now I've put this into a bar at 20%, just with caprylic triglycerides and then 20% of the hydrogenated vegetable oil. As you can see, it's very soft, very flexible. So you could use it in sticks, but you would definitely need to use one of the harder waxes I'm going to talk to you about. Here I have gelled some caprylic triglycerides with the hydrogenated vegetable oil at 5%, and it is a beautiful gelling agent. So it's got great applications as a oil gelling agent, also great in water in oil creams to help build up viscosity, also great in ointments. You could also use it in balms, pomades, and even stick products, but in stick products, and even if you wanted a hard balm, you would need to combine it with one of these other harder waxes here to get some hardness into the product. Next I'm going to show you is beeswax. Now I love beeswax and you're going to see why when I explain this product in a moment, but I just want to point out, while it's natural, it's not vegan suitable. So if you need to make a vegan suitable product, you can't use beeswax. Now beeswax can come in an organic version which has a much yellower colour. This is a bleached beeswax here. It's still natural, but it is quite white to begin with. So this is the raw material here, and this is it here in a bar form. Now again, 20% wax, 80% caprylic triglycerides. I did this so that we have an apples for apples comparison across all the different waxes, and you can see it is quite a flexible wax. I can bend that bar, it doesn't break. Now that makes beeswax fantastic in a variety of products. I've also made an oily gel here with, again, 5% beeswax in the 95% caprylic triglycerides, and it is a beautiful gelling agent. It has got a higher viscosity in the gel than the hydrogenated vegetable oil. That is because it is slightly harder, but it is a beautiful gelling material for oily gels. So you can use beeswax in all of your oil-based products, from oily gels, your water and oil creams, ointments, balms, pomades, even sticks. But with a stick product, if you want it to be really hard, you would need to also add one of the harder waxes in a small proportion. But beeswax does give great flexibility. You won't break your stick easily if you're using beeswax. Beeswax, interestingly, is also a low HLB material, so it helps stabilize your water and oil creams and water and oil ointments. You can also use these in balm products to add a little bit of water soluble materials, and the beeswax will help stabilize a small percentage of water or water soluble materials, around 5%, in a balm product because of that low HLB value. Next is a material called veggie. Now this is the product here. Now in a bar form, it has got some flexibility, but it does also break. So there is a little bit of brittleness, a bit of hardness there to it. This is the material in its raw form. Now this is actually a natural alternative to ozocorite, and I've got to say it compares extremely well in terms of its flexibility and hardness and melting point to ozocorite. So if you were looking to replace ozocorite in a formula, this is a fantastic drop-in replacement. It does really achieve what it says it will do. As a gelling agent, it's okay. It's not as good as the beeswax or the hydrogenated vegetable oil, but it does still gel effectively. There is that flexibility in there to mean it is quite a good gelling agent still. So you could use this in oily gels, you can use it in water and oil creams, ointments, balms, pomades, and even sticks. If you're using it in a stick, you would probably want to just add a little bit of a flexibility increasing agent like your beeswax or your hydrogenated vegetable oil, just to reduce that risk of brittleness. Otherwise your stick could break when the user is applying it. Now we're coming over to the harder waxes. First we have the Candelilla wax. Now this is the actual material here, and this is it here in a bar at 20%, and you can see it's very brittle. It's also very hard though, which has its features and benefits for stick products. As a gelling agent, it's definitely not my favourite. While it looks like it's a nicely set gel here, if you apply any sort of shear to this, it turns liquid thin. So you lose your gel structure straight away. You could use it as a gelling agent, but when you've got better choices over here, I simply wouldn't. As a stick, in a stick product, fantastic, but again, you would want some flexibility agent like your beeswax or your hydrogenated vegetable oil present, just so that you don't get sticks breaking easily like that, because it is hard, but it does have brittleness to it. So you can use this in harder balms, you could use this in small portions in pomades. Definitely you can use this in stick products to get that hardness of a stick, but remember, use a little bit of a flexibility increasing agent so that you don't get breakages in your stick. Next is rice bran wax. Now I really like this material. I would tend to use the rice bran over the Candelilla or Carnauba. It is a hard wax. You can see I have already broken this to test it, and it does break and it is brittle. One of the things I like about this material though is it helps reduce syneresis in balms and sticks. So those little drops of sweat that appear on sticks is known as syneresis. But rice bran, if it's also used in the formula, can help reduce the potential of that occurring. So it's good to help with long-term shelf life of a product. This is the raw material here. As a gelling agent, no, I'm not going to recommend it. It can set hard, but you lose all stability and structure if you shear it. So it's great if you want to make your balms harder. It's also great in pomades, a little bit in pomades, just to increase the viscosity, make the pomades set well. It's fantastic in sticks. So I would definitely use this in stick products. It's one of my favorites to use for that purpose. And finally, we have Carnauba wax. Now this is the hardest wax of all, and it does have a fair bit of brittleness. So it's fantastic in sticks, but you need to include a flexibility agent in with this very hard wax, otherwise you will get significant breaking of your sticks with only a little bit of pressure. So definitely needs a flexibility agent added. This is the raw material here. So both the Candelilla and the Carnauba can add a lot of gloss to your stick products. That's actually one of their main applications. Carnauba wax is very glossy in particular. It's no good as a gelling agent, and part of that is because of its hardness and its brittleness. So fantastic in stick products to make them harder. You could use a little bit in balms, hard balms, or pomades to bring up the viscosity and hardness of the product. But you definitely do need some flexibility agents added, your hydrogenated vegetable oil or beeswax, so that you don't get a brittle stick that's just going to break on application. The other thing to take note of with the natural waxes is the colour, okay? Now when you're making colour cosmetics and you're adding pigment, the colour's not going to matter. But if you're making sticks or balms where you're not going to add colouring agent, of course, colour is going to matter. This material here, the Veggie, gives a very interesting sort of appearance. It's not quite opaque. It's got a little bit of translucency to it. Your bleached beeswax, of course, is quite white. Unbleached beeswax is definitely more of the Candelilla type colour over here. And of course your Carnauba is a very dark colour. So this might impact your decision of which wax you're going to choose for your formula as well. Now I've put all of this into a great little summary table for you, which you can see on the screen, or contact us if you would like a copy of this summary table. Well, there you go. Now, as I mentioned, there are some other natural waxes out there that you could use as well, and you could run similar tests to see how they perform for your application. Also consider colour and how that might impact your choices as well. I hope you've enjoyed this summary of natural waxes. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please leave any questions or comments below and make sure you subscribe to receive notifications about all our videos. Happy formulating!